Hit the like button. It ain't nothing. Where we at, man? King Supreme TV. You in the right place to be with King Supreme TV. You know, hit the like button and support the show, man. We finna get it. Can you dig it? Where my people at, man? Make sure that you guys get this a daily dose of this game from Red Supreme. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go. Now you guys know that you got ICE agents harassing blacks in Chicago, and we don't know what this is about, man, but we're gonna figure it out. They say, hey, Foundation of Black Americans, you guys are next. You guys are next. They said it. Yeah, they said it. They said, hey, we fought for justice for Rodney Dangerfield. FBAs, you guys are next, eh? They're gonna harass you. They're gonna do the same thing they're doing to us. It's a yeah, they said it. Hey man, let's dive into the conversation. Cheesehead Ali. What it do, bro? Let's go. Where my people at, man? Salute. Salute. Let's go. Make sure that you support this show in a major way. It is Red Supreme. Let me adjust this real quick. We getting ready to dive in, man. It's beautiful. Hold on. Hit the like button, man. Shout out to my people, man. We getting up in here, man. There we go. There we go. Just how you like it, baby. Yes, sir. You in a place to be. Red Supreme, tapping on in. Let's get it, baby. Frankie Mac, what's poppin'? Man, you know they coming after man, I've been watching videos, man, on YouTube, and man, ICE been tripping in Chicago, coming after black people, going up to homeless shelters, raiding apartment buildings, and there's no trendy Aragua there. There's no immigrants there. ICE agents in Chicago are now harassing foundational Black Americans. We're going to get down to the bottom of this. Where you guys in the chat? Tap on in. Let's have a conversation. Oh, yeah. Man, what up, man? Happy Saturday, man. I know a lot of people at work, but then again, you got some people who work on Saturdays, man. So you still got some people at work, but I think the majority of people are off work, right? Some people like to get their Mondays and they Mondays off, Tuesdays off. Some people want that weekend, man. Because think about it, on the weekend, like if you got kids, you want to be at home with your kids. Now, if you got grown kids, or if you don't have any kids at all, then you can, your days off don't matter. But like if you have children, your children are out of school on Saturdays and Sundays. So maybe you want those same off days to spend time with your kids. You did. Hey man, shout out to Scoop in the building, man. Everybody in the building. Yeah. ICE agents are coming after foundational Black Americans. Where? In Chicago. You already know. King Supreme TV. Make sure that you guys smash that like button when you slide on through. Shout out to my man Scoop. Scoop said definitely at work. Yeah, man, you got, a lot of people at work today, man. Everybody don't take Sundays off, man. I will vote. for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. We're gonna vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. I ain't gonna lie, man. That song was funny. Oh my God, it was funny. It was hilarious. Where my people at? Tap the like button. We're ready to get it in. Saturday morning. But then again, if you're on the East Coast, it's already 2 p.m. on the East Coast. So a 3-hour time difference, so I get it. But it's still 10:57 a.m. out here on the West. 1:57 to my people out East. Yeah. Shit, I've been trying to tell y'all the illegals are being used as shock troops in order to eventually come for us, U.S. citizens. Shout out to Virgil Berry. He said Phil Scott flip-flopping started to sound like a new Dem now. I don't think Phil is flip-flopping. Phil is just saying, hey man, the Republican Party is full of crap as well. Black folks don't get comfortable with them as well. So I don't think he's flip-flopping. I think he's exposing the evil from both sides, right? That's my take on it. But I'm going to give you guys my breakdown on the situation. Hit the like button, tap on in, let the games begin. Yeah, shout out to Scoop, man. You know what I'm saying? When your kids are grown, man, you can trade them weekends in. You dig? So shout out to Scoop. What it do? We're going to get some more people up in here, man, and bless that like button. It ain't nothing. We're going to dive right in. Oh, yeah. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. Tania Marie was good. Shout out to my girl Tania Marie in the building. Now, Phil is still solid, man. Phil is just exposing, the evil that comes from the Republican Party. He's not flip-flopping. He's not switching sides. He's just calling it what it is. That's all it is, Jack. That's all. That's it. That's all. That all, folks. That's Roland Martin. Look at Roland Martin. Roland Martin got a whole lot to say about this stuff. I told you. Did it? You did vote for Donald Trump. I told you. You got Roland Martin over there talking big over there. Calling black people stupid, calling black people fools. Why? Because they voted for Donald Trump. Roland Martin wants to legalize border hopping. And that ain't no secret. I will vote for Donald Trump.
Trump is doing is making Illinois safer. ICE is running around the loop harassing people for not being white. Just a year ago, that was illegal in the United States. Is making Illinois safer. ICE is running around the loop harassing people for not being white. Just a year ago, that was illegal in the United States. Now, ICE is making it commonplace. That's not making America great.
Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock in New York. Mere hours after Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said that, a terrifying scene unfolded in Chicago. Around 300 federal agents descended on an apartment building in the South Shore neighborhood. They forced their way inside and began raiding people's homes. From reporting in the Chicago Sun-Times, quote, armed federal agents in military fatigues busted down their doors overnight, pulling men, women, and children from their apartments, some of them naked, residents and witnesses said. Agents approached or entered nearly every apartment in the 5-story building, and U.S. citizens were among those detained for hours, end quote. Take a listen to this chilling local news report on what happened.
I spoke to one woman who actually lives in this building, and she says she was detained by ICE agents overnight, and she says they took everyone and then asked questions later.
They just treated us like we were nothing.
Patricia Fisher said she came out to the hallway of her apartment complex on the corner of 75th and South Shore Drive in her nightgown around 10 Monday night, only to find ICE agents yelling police.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no, I didn't.
She said she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration, they would not be released. Citizen App video shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents. Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying, people was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
Fuck the kids. Federal officials say 37 people.
That's crazy. So now ICE is out there wreaking havoc, terrorizing the community. They're not even just going at the immigrants. They're harassing everybody. If you're not white, they're harassing you. See what a lot of people kept telling me, Red, they're not arresting these European immigrants. They're not arresting them. And a lot of people have been saying that. And that's a legitimate complaint because what you don't see is now you see Haitians getting deported. Of course, you're going to see Mexicans getting deported, but they're not deporting the European immigrants. That's because they're white. Right?
Overnight, neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents. Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying, people was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them.
Where's the humanity? I think she meant to say, where's the humanity? Where's your humanity? You're terrorizing this community. None of these people are immigrants. They haven't broken any laws. You're just harassing these good old folks. Where's your humanity? ICE is terrorizing black communities. That's word on the street in Chicago.
Was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
Fuck the kids. Federal officials say 37 people were arrested in the raid, which they said they performed because the neighborhood was a, quote, location known to be frequented by Tren de Aragua members and their associates. But as the Chicago Sun-Times reports, DHS gave no evidence to support that assertion, and authorities did not confirm that any of the people arrested were members of a Venezuelan gang. An unbelievable show of force that looks to the naked, untrained eye very un-American, sweeping up women, children, and U.S. citizens. Daryl Ballard, who witnessed the raid, said this, quote, we're under siege, we're being invaded by our own military, end quote. And a woman named Marley Sanders, whose boyfriend was detained, noted, quote, they had the black people in one van and the immigrants in another van, end quote. A frightening escalation overnight raid is an escalation in what has been a weeks-long presence by ICE officials in the country's third largest city, where hundreds have been arrested. At the same time, protesters have been voicing their outrage. Clashes outside the ICE facility in Broadview, a suburb of Chicago, have turned ugly at times, with demonstrators getting tear gassed. Today, protesters were there again, and so was DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. She was spotted on the roof of the facility along with the Border Patrol commander, agents, as well as cameras, to which Governor Pritzker responded, quote, it's been nearly 45 days since Secretary Noem has held an official press conference, so it's time she faces the public and takes questions from the press to be held accountable for the Trump administration's gross misconduct. Illinois is not a photo opportunity or war zone. It's a sovereign state where our people deserve rights, respect, and answers. That is where we begin the hour with some of our favorite experts.
Afro Merchant said those apartments on the southeast side is full of Venezuelans. Well, this particular apartment building, maybe they got it wrong. I don't know. But shout out to my people from Chicago. You guys know exactly what's going on. Like, from what these people are saying, there were no immigrants in that building. They were just harassing black folks. I don't know. But shout out to Afro Merchant.
And friends. Director of Communications and Public Policy for the ACLU of Illinois, Ed Yonka is here, and with me at the table, opinion writer for the New York Times, MSNBC political analyst Mark.
Kamala, listen. This is not hurting black people. You got a few individuals that's getting harassed. Come on, Shay. If Kamala Harris was president, the border would be wide open. Chicago would look like south of the border. The whole country would look like south of the border if Kamala was president. You're delusional. This is mild sauce compared to Kamala Harris and her policies. If Kamala Harris was president, 10 million more immigrants would have crossed the border by now. So hell nah, we did a good job by not putting Kamala Harris in office. You're not going to agree with everything that a president does, but I'd rather have Donald Trump in office than Kamala Harris. I made the best decision when it comes to voting. I was not going to vote for Kamala Scamala. I voted for Donald J. Trump. Don't agree with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is on some BS from time to time as well, but Donald Trump is better. He'll do a better job at running his country than Kamala Harris, 100%.
Mark Gay is here, and Democratic strategist and professor at Columbia University, MSNBC political analyst Basil Smikle's here. Ed, just tell us what you understand to have happened here in Chicago at this building, and if you have any information about how the kids are doing, who were, according to reports, zip-tied and met with some indifference from at least one federal agent.
Yes, I don't have any information about how the kids are doing. What I can tell you...
See, Shay doesn't mind if 10 million more illegals cross the border into our country. She don't care. She making it seem like they're just terrorizing blacks as a whole. No, you might have a few incidents where blacks get harassed, but that's way better than leaving the borders wide open so millions of more immigrants could come over and overpopulate our communities. I'm just giving you the reality. Kamala Harris is not Kamala Harris is not fit to be a leader. She's not fit to run a country. She is not fit to be president at all. Donald Trump is doing a better job than Kamala Harris would do in a lifetime. Kamala Harris promoted gender confusion to your children. She told men that they can use women bathrooms, just a bunch of foolishness. Kamala Harris would have destroyed this country if she would have won this past election.
Nicole, is that what we saw was a full-fledged military operation conducted on the south side of Chicago against an apartment building in which the building was literally...
Shout out to Afro Merchant, man. He's from Chicago, so he would know. He like, nah, there's immigrants in those buildings. So the black people who got harassed were just casualties of war, man. But for the most part, they are going after these immigrants. Well, but at the same time, are they... What about the Ukrainian immigrants? What about the European immigrants? Do you see ICE rounding them up? I don't think so. But I got to ask my people from Chicago because I don't live there.
Invaded.
From at least one federal agent.
Yes, I don't have any information about how the kids are doing. What I can tell you, Nicole, is that what we saw was a full-fledged military operation conducted on the south side of Chicago against an apartment building in which the building was literally invaded. People's doors were broken down. There has never been a warrant produced for any of this activity. People were dragged out in the middle of the night, as you indicated, zip-tied, put into rental vans and driven off, only to be released later. There's no evidence that anybody here was in any way, shape, or form dangerous, nor that anybody here posed any risk to public safety in Chicago or elsewhere. But you'll notice, as you've indicated, that there were lots of cameras around, that ICE was there, ready to take video and to make this a social media spectacular.
Let me actually read a little bit more of the reporting just to get more facts out for my viewers. The Chicago Sun-Times also reports...
I will vote For Donald Trump.
This quote, Roderick Johnson, 67 years old, is one of many residents who were detained by federal agents during the South Shore raid. A U.S. citizen, he said, agents broke through his door and dragged him out in zip ties. Johnson said he was left tied up outside the building for nearly 3 hours before agents finally let him go. Quote, I asked agents why they were holding me if I was an American citizen, and they said I had to wait until they looked me up, Johnson said. Quote, I asked if they had a warrant, and I asked for a lawyer. They never brought one. What is your understanding of the
I will vote for Donald Trump.
legal framework upon which the raid took place?
Thus far, we've been given no evidence, and there's been no evidence presented to the public in any way about a legal framework for this particular raid, for bringing in this kind of force. Again, helicopters and drones and armed agents knocking down people's doors without any evidence that there was a warrant or that anybody was sought that would have caused them to, again, take everyone in the building away as it was. But I have to add, Nicole, that one of the things is that this particular event is just part of an escalation of force and violence that we're seeing from the federal government in Chicago.
I did see them put a black man in a headlock, but guess what? If Kamala Harris was president, you would have way more problems than we have now. These black people, they're just casualties of war, man. You're going to have some casualties. But overall, they're doing a good job by kicking these immigrants out of these communities, right? You're not going to convince me because one black man got roughed up and a few people got harassed that Kamala Harris should be in office because of that. No, sir. I reject your deposit. You're living in a fantasy. Now let's get back to reality, baby. Can we? Come on, Shay. I know you ain't nothing but a Democrat shield, a Democratic shield.
That is clearly designed to create an intimidation and oppression across this city and to make people scared of their own federal government. You know, everything from what's happening at Broadview, as you mentioned, to, armed officers marching up and down Michigan Avenue, taking people away from Millennium Park, a family that was just visiting, the Bean at Millennium Park was taken into custody on Sunday. This is just a government that is clearly out of control. And,
All right, let's go to the next clip. Now, they're protesting in Chicago right now, baby. Look.
West of Chicago, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is on the ground there, visiting the ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois.
Now, this is the ICE facility, and we're going to go to Philip Scott right after this. Matter of fact, let's go to Philip. Man, we'll hold on one second before I play this. Yeah, man, it is what it is. Hit the like button if you haven't already, baby. The game is so heavy. Yeah, man. Kamala Harris she would have ran this country in the ground, man, if she got elected as president. Please believe that. She would have ran this place in the ground, man.
Trees. A lot of people. And a lot of people are shocked about this particular raid because this is a community where a lot of black people are at. Now, ICE claimed they was going to do a raid because of the Venezuelan gang, Tren de Agua. They said they had members out there. But I want you to watch and listen to what the people said, how they were acting.
It's a citizens that stay in that building too. It's citizens, regular citizens that stay in that building. Why y'all just raiding everybody's house?
Well, see, that's what Afro Merchant said. He said it's a lot of immigrants who live in that building, as well as some black folks. And, I heard the east side of Chicago got a lot of immigrants over there.
Yeah, I said, why y'all just didn't go to their house? Why y'all raiding everybody's house? That's violation of the citizens' rights, that it actually live there.
I don't know nothing about the right.
You thought I was giving intel? I'm giving you intel. Intel into the right flow. It's citizens' rights, right? As a U.S. citizen, we have rights, right? And y'all just raiding their houses trying to get to the immigrants. That's not right. That's not fair. Y'all disturbing the peace of them. It's 1 in the morning. It's kids that stay in that building. Y'all flashbanging. Y'all not being considerate.
When they trying to get somebody.
She thought I was giving some intel. I got some intel for you, Bookie, but what you're doing is illegal. If it wasn't like that, why y'all not showing y'all faces? Man, and he just had a newborn. That little boy only 12 years old. They got the babies outside. That little boy only 12 years old. They got the babies outside.
It is wrong. So what they did was they raided everybody's house. So they know that building. They know a lot of illegals live in that building. So they just raided everybody, pulled everybody out. Right. And a lot of black people got caught up in that, unfortunately.
Get your ugly ass out my view. Y'all immigrants too. I don't see nobody trying to take y'all back to Europe.
It's overnight, and she says they took everyone. And then
She said, I don't see nobody trying to take y'all back to Europe.
asked questions.
So this is the South Shore neighborhood in Chicago.
Later.
They just treated us.
I don't know.
It's overnight, and she says they took everyone and then asked questions later.
They just treated us like we were nothing.
Confirmed this morning that they did help the U.S. Border Patrol carry out a targeted immigration enforcement operation in this area, and they say they have been supporting these efforts at the direction of the U.S. Attorney General.
All right. So the people in Chicago say they're feeling under siege with all this situation that's going on with ICE. Now, I'm seeing the tactics. I'm seeing how they're moving. They're being very aggressive, and it's like I see it coming. What's going to end up happening, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm completely wrong on what I'm about to say. What's going to end up possibly happening, one of these aggressive ICE agents or one of the federal agents.
Shout out to Scoop for the Cash App. I appreciate you, Brody. Shout out to Lim Hendricks for the super chat. Shout out to Lim Hendricks.
Is going to harm somebody and take their life. And it's going to be a bad situation, and who they do, it may be a child, it can be somebody, right? And that they're going to do it at the right time. And that is what's going to spark off people. Because let me tell you the environment that they're doing this in. A lot of layoffs are happening to people. Mass firings are happening to people. People are worried about if I'm going to be homeless.
Yeah, that's true, man. A lot of people are going through it. They struggling, man. People don't have jobs. They don't have money. You know, it's crazy out here, man.
For groceries. And when you start getting people in that kind of position where they are desperate.
See, Shay don't care if black people are locked up because of Kamala. She don't care. She's an imposter. We don't even know if that's a real black woman. Right? You know, Shay might not, listen, that can be a fake profile. For all we know, Shay, anyway, we're not going to speculate, but that might not even be a black woman. She's just trolling. She don't care about black men, but she wants us to care about illegal immigrants and their cause. Man, please, go somewhere and sit down. Take 10 seats.
And when they get to a point, I feel like I have nothing to lose, and they're not even worried about no jail or any of that at that point, right? And for surely not worried about no ICE agents or whoever else they're worried about. They're going to have a problem. And I've always said this, and it's the truth. It's a numbers game in America. There's more people than them. At the end of the day, it's more people. I heard they're starting to do this mess in New York. New York is, I think, the wrong city to really be pushing people, because New Yorkers on a good day be down with it, the business. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to put people in that kind of position, because the way people are feeling right now, if something happens, I believe it's going to be worse than George Floyd, and more people are going to be a part of it than just black people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what I'm seeing happening. You could only push people so far before people say, okay, all right, but it's going to take the life of somebody being lost.
Right. Shay is a tether, man. Straight tether. That's exactly what she is. Haven't you guys noticed every time I asked her to hit the link to pull up to speak, she always have an excuse? Oh, I'm at work. Oh, I can't do this, because she's not a real person. That could be a fake profile, because if Shay was real, she would have been came up to speak to me a long time ago. Every time I tell her to hit that link, she has an excuse. I think we know why.
That's usually how it goes. And because they're being way too aggressive. There's no need to be that aggressive. You understand what I'm saying? Now, some people will say, oh, well, see, that's why we were saying to vote for Kamala and this and that and the third. Well, let's call it what it is. The people that's, I think, more affected by all this than us would be the Latino community. And they didn't go vote for Kamala like that. I take a big issue with anyone telling anybody black about it was our responsibility to put her in office. No, it was more the Latino community responsibility to put her in office.
Right. It was more the Latino responsibility to put her in office, because they can't deport us. We're citizens of this country. Kamala being in office was in Latinos' best interest, not in foundational Black Americans' best interest. Let's be honest. Bless that like button. Let's get back to the content, though. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and check out all of my shorts that I've been uploading lately.
Because they had way more to lose with Trump getting in office, especially when he promised he was going to be doing this mess. And they still went out and voted for him. Doing all that dance and talking about, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump and all that. You know what I'm saying? All of them should have voted for Kamala Harris. Don't any of you do not let none of these Democrat shields or anybody say, well, you didn't vote for her, or you sat it out, or you did whatever the case may be. Okay, but black folks that did vote, they voted majority Kamala, whether a black male or black female. But the Latino community, who had a lot riding on that election, is the one that should have voted for her 100%. And if they would have voted,
well, Shay, you claim to be half FBA, right? But it seems like you have more love for your Honduran side, right? Why don't you go live in Honduras? Because foundational Black Americans is the reason that all minorities have civil rights in this country. Show us why don't you show us what Hondurans have done for people in America? Absolutely nothing. So if you're so proud to be Honduran, why don't you go back to the Honduras and just live over there? Clearly, you're not going to do that. So you speak against the best interests of FBAs while benefiting from the things that FBA people fought for at the same time. The people in Honduras ain't done nothing for you. You don't want to live in that country. You don't want nothing to do with that country. So you speak against the best interests of foundational Black Americans while speaking for the best interests of Hondurans, and Hondurans ain't did a damn thing for you. You don't even want to live in that country. You're backwards. Clearly, you're backwards.
For her 100%, but the Latino community, who had a lot riding on that election, is the one that should have voted for her 100%. And if they would have voted for her 100%, she'd be the president right now, and they wouldn't be dealing with some of these issues. Of course, we catch it. Listen, let me tell you another reason why they're being so aggressive. Crime is down.
She proud of a country that she don't want to live in. Hondurans ain't did nothing to make her life better, but yet she speaks for the best interests of those people. Foundational Black Americans who have made it better for all minorities and people of color. she don't speak for our best interests. She just loved the benefits that she get. You know, because of the things that we fought for as foundational Black Americans in this country. People like Shay are backwards. Honduras ain't did nothing for you. None of those people want to live in Honduras. No, sir. What have Hondurans did in America to make America better? What have they done? What laws have they fought for? So they can't make Honduras better, and they've done absolutely nothing to make America better. But yet you speak for the best interests of them, and you want foundational Black Americans to vote against their best interests. This woman is backwards. Something is wrong with you.
Nationwide, even in Chicago, crime is down. And when crime is down, prisons don't get full. Prisons is a business, is a $1 billion business in the United States of America. In order for that business to keep running, you got to keep putting people in there. It's not good for business if crime is down. It's not good. Now, these people, and you know what people I'm talking about.
Oh, actually, she couldn't answer the question. What have Hondurans did to make your life better? Why don't you go live there since you're proud to be that? What have Hondurans done in America to make America better? What laws have they fought for in America that benefits all people? You can't name anything. Why? Because they done absolutely nothing.
Or wicked on top of wicked for what they do. They're living up here trying to criminalize people in the mix of this immigration stuff they're doing because they want to funnel more people into prison. But this the thing with that. This particular dispensation of time.
Let's go to the next clip.
Now, ICE, as you know, is in Chicago right now. And ICE recently pulled up to a homeless shelter. Now, what a
Shout out to Afro Merchant for the super chat. I appreciate you, Brody.
Homeless shelter has to do with any gang activity or things like that, right? I want you to see like just kind of how they're pulling up and doing these things. And we're going to talk about this because what is really going on? Let's go ahead and check this out.
Leaders describe the raid as an ambush. They say some residents tried to hurry back inside. Others weren't so lucky.
It was about 30 to 35 masked agents in the streets all over the place. You saw chaos, and they just completely caught everybody off guard.
Watch the surveillance. It happens fast. Around 9 in the morning, unmarked SUVs pull up to a Bronzeville shelter, and ICE agents rush out.
There were about 20 residents maybe outside here, and they immediately gave chase.
That's when leaders with the Bright Star Community Development Corporation, which operates the shelter, say 5 of their residents were detained. One of them was later released.
What's happening?
They pulled up, I don't know, they detained, I think, 4 individuals right now.
And Scoop is right about that. Shay doesn't have any respect for foundational Black Americans who gave her rights in the first place. Foundational Black Americans is the reason that Hondurans, immigrants, people of color, we're the reason that they have rights when they come to this country. Shay has no respect for the community that gave her rights. Scoop is 100% correct. He's correct.
Like that, right? I want you to see like just kind of how they're pulling up and doing these things. And we're going to talk about this because what is really going on? Let's go ahead and check this out.
Leaders describe the raid as an ambush. They say some residents tried to hurry back inside. Others weren't so lucky.
It was about 30 to 35 masked agents in the streets all over the place. You saw chaos, and they just completely caught everybody off guard.
Watch the surveillance. It happens fast. Around 9 in the morning, unmarked SUVs pull up to a Bronzeville shelter, and ICE agents rush out.
There were about 20 residents maybe outside here, and they immediately gave chase.
That's when leaders with the Bright Star Community Development Corporation, which operates the shelter, say 5 of their residents were detained. One of them was later released.
What's happening?
They pulled up, I don't know, they detained, I think, 4 individuals right now.
Pastor Chris Harris immediately pulled out his cell phone.
They just came to do what they came to do. And what was really heartbreaking for me, there was very little compassion.
The shelter is at an undisclosed location in Bronzeville for the safety of the 260 men and women who live there. Bright Star CDC's executive director, Carl West, says they don't know why ICE targeted this location, but shares that they are working to find the residents who were taken.
You cannot even imagine what it makes you feel just watching.
It's very invasive, intrusive, all the things, anything that you think, it's worse than that.
Lucretia Kindred, alongside Harris and West, are now working to support the residents at the shelter who are left on edge.
Anxious, uncertain, scared, not really sure what to.
Listen, you're going to have a few casualties, but this is the thing. This is the reality. They can't deport foundational Black Americans. So they, a few people might get harassed because some of these ICE agents are a-holes, right? We get it. But at the end of the day, we're not going anywhere. There's nothing to fear. We're not going anywhere. We're here. This is our home. But let's continue on with the content. Now, why would ICE agents raid a homeless shelter? See, I can see if these homeless shelters was full of migrants, that would make sense. But what's the purpose of raiding a homeless shelter now? I don't know. Maybe my people from Chicago can put me up on game. Maybe there's a lot of immigrants in those homeless shelters. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason. Who knows?
Expect. One of the things that we focus on here is to try to help them support themselves. The possibility of that all being ended is very scary.
We've made several attempts to reach ICE for comment on this morning's operation, including whether they were targeting anyone in particular, but have not yet heard back. Reporting live downtown, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
So you see ICE just jump out, right? You know, they call the jump out boys, right? So they're doing the jump out boy thing on a homeless shelter. 35, they say agents. Why? Who are you looking for at a homeless shelter? What you thought, a bunch of illegal immigrants was going to be at the homeless shelter? And so y'all going to go over there and storm the homeless shelter? Like I'm saying, all these tactics that they're using, right? Something that look like they are in Iraq or Afghanistan. And they're literally trying to wage a war now on even American citizens. This is not even about illegal immigration anymore because of what they're doing. And even with illegal immigration, there are certain ways you got to handle that. There's
certain ways you got to handle that. Make sure that you hit the like button, man, to support the show. And we're going to get into the protest right after this clip.
Very aggressive because they've been given a green light to be aggressive. And it's just very interesting how nobody's being sued. Because like I said, they're violating a lot of laws. And there's going to be so many people that are going to be paid after this administration is gone. Because, I mean, come on, man. You can't just assault people like that because that's assault. Now, it's one thing if an officer or agent is defending themselves because they had harm. But some of these things they're doing, they're not being harmed. People aren't fighting with them. They just literally just brutalizing people.
Hey, man, I said, hey, man, we're going to kick. Hey, anyway, man, let's continue.
But my thing is this.
Hey, man.
And I said it last night, and I'm going to say it again. They're going to do something to somebody and take someone's life, and it's going to be the right one, too. And it's going to set something off. Because,
man, listen, man, there's going to be a lot of lawsuits. They're going to have a whole lot of lawsuits. A lot of those people, a lot of those Black people are going to sue. They're going to say, hey, man, they had us out here at 2 o'clock in the morning. Our children are cold. They got school in the morning. And we're dealing with these ICE raids. We're citizens of this country, and we're dealing with this harassment from ICE agents. So, yes, some of those Black people are going to sue. They're going to have lawsuits. That is a fact. Make sure that you guys bless the Cash App, $RED1803. The Super Chat is available. But, hey, I prefer that you bless the Cash App. But if you want to hit the Super Chat, it don't matter. Support the show. Let's get it.
My thing is this. And I said it last night, and I'm going to say it again. They're going to do something to somebody and take someone's life, and it's going to be the right one, too. And it's going to set something off because their tactics is too aggressive. You can't keep doing that to people and thinking people are going to keep allowing things like this. I mean, you have to handle things the right way. It's the reason why they have certain laws on the books. There's a reason why they talk about having search warrants and things like this. You say, hey, I got a search warrant for this building. Okay. Most people have to move to the side because you got a search warrant. You're not even showing up with search warrants.
I don't know how your wrench got removed, pretty boy, but for some reason, YouTube removed a couple of wrenches, and I haven't taken anybody's wrench on this channel. So when I seen pretty boy didn't have a wrench, I made sure that I modded him up again, and yeah, man. But anyway, man, we're gonna continue on with the show. Let's go.
You just breaking all of the protocol and things that law and that people are used to. And people like, you're doing all this basically shock and awe type of approach to people. But I'm still trying to figure out when it went from mass deportations to the American people. Because last time I checked, American people aren't illegal immigrants. American people aren't Trinidad Agua. American people aren't doing anything like that. Most American people are just trying to live their life. They're not out here committing crime. But once again, and I will say this, and I'm probably say it again. Well, now you know in the midterms what you need to do. Now you know what you need to do. I believe out of all these videos that we see coming out, that people need to get registered to vote and get ready to vote in the midterms. I'm a firm believer of early voting when I do it early. That way I get it out the way. I'm not in a long line with nobody. I think last time I did an early voting the first day. And in midterms, yes, I'll be there too, first day. Because this what's going on here, what's happening in Congress, what's happening in the Senate right now. You got a government shutdown. And it's silly. Some of the things that they're doing, people not getting paid. Air traffic controllers not getting paid. TSA not getting paid. A whole lot of people not getting paid right now. But yet they expect to come to work. You can't play with people's money like that. The economy is not even good if you're playing people's money. But doing this sort of thing, what you see, yeah, that's why they have to do the things they're doing to try to get more seats or whatever the case may be, is because I don't believe people are going to sit up there and go put them back in office like that. Not after seeing all these tactics. And then when they do get people, they're just grabbing people up. They're not, and they detaining them. And not, you know what I'm saying? They ask questions later. That's not the way you do things. You just grab people, you know what I'm saying? Because
they just snatching people up. They like, listen, man, we're here to do the job. We're snatching up everybody. Everybody gonna get it. Now, if you're not, if you're a citizen, we will release you later. But right now, we're snatching up everybody in the vicinity.
But you put people in a traumatic situation, you criminalize everybody's a criminal till you figure it out, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everybody's
a criminal until they figure it out. I just said it. Well, if it turns out that you are an American citizen, we'll let you go. But in the meantime, we must detain you, right? And that's the game that they're playing.
You've already got a tough time. And that's the place you want to go. You couldn't even talk, you couldn't even show a search warrant. Couldn't ask and say, who, we got a warrant for this person, that person, are they here? None of that.
None of that.
But that's that Stephen Miller and the rest of them saying, hey, go hard, do this. We're tough. We're this. That sort of thing. But Stephen Miller not going to be out there if they do something to somebody. He's going to be in Washington, D.C. But I will say this much. Your Governor Pritzker, they need to be saying something. Brandon Johnson, I know they are saying something. What is your Illinois Senate and House? What are they saying about it? All what was happening in Chicago, because that's part of their job too, is to be talking about these things. What are they doing to coordinate with them and say, what are y'all actually doing here? In these cities? What about the state police? Well, what are they doing? Now, I know they're not assisting them, but it's like, hey, we can't be doing this. We got to follow the law. Now, Governor Pritzker said anytime you see them out, record and upload it so you can know exactly what they're doing, right? Okay, cool. But these tactics, you know, when they say Gestapo, that's about the tactics you're seeing right now. And he didn't run on doing that. So there's plenty of people that's voted for him based on the economy and illegal immigration. He didn't run and say, you know what? And also, I'm going
to. Man, shout out to Lions Dollars for the Cash App. I appreciate you for supporting the show like always, my brother.
Go target American cities. I'm going to go target American people. He didn't say that while he was running. Just like Biden didn't say he was going to bring in a bunch of illegal immigrants into the cities and paper them up and give them free hotels and all that. Biden didn't say that either. When you vote for these politicians, a lot of times they do something else when they get in office versus what they run on. So Biden and Trump pull one on the voters. And that's why them people got to say, hey, don't you pull no fast ones. I believe you pull a fast one on American people, you should be impeached and removed from office. That's just my opinion. But let's see what happens on the midterms. But please record it. Please put it up. Please expose it. Do not let them operate where nobody's knowing what's going on.
I don't think Phil wants to be a Democrat now. What Phil is saying, he's just showing you the evil that comes from, you know, the Republican Party as well. So I believe Phil does a great job at showing you evils on both sides, right? Which is why foundational Black America needs to be independent thinkers, independent voters, you know?
Okay? Now, you saw how the camera was out there seeing everything they were doing. That's why when you talk about them shootings in Chicago and you can't find... Now, listen, ICE is there and all that. Are they arresting all these gang members as they talk about it shooting up the place? I haven't heard nothing about that, right? You think they will parade those guys?
I mean, what y'all think about Phil, man? Yeah, man.
President Trump is ordering a review of Oregon's federal funding as Antifa chaos continues in Portland.
Meanwhile, radical agitators have spent nearly 100.
Hold on, we're not talking about Oregon right now. I think I'm gonna do a show on Portland tomorrow, man. You know, I've been to Portland before, man. You know, I like Portland, man. I done been there a few times, man. Shout out to Portland. You know, shout out to Portland.
Hold. Something is imminently about to happen. State police have been lining this street, blocking.
Now, this is Chicago, right outside the ICE facility, right?
It, trying to keep protesters from blocking the vehicles. That's what we've seen for more than a month now. That has been the big issue, is when these demonstrators have been blocking the vehicles from getting into the facility. That's been a complaint that ICE has said, to be able to say that's why we've been deploying all of these rubber bullets, this tear gas. And state police, for the first time today, are now out doing crowd control, blocking off these roads to try to allow these ICE vehicles to come in and out of the facility with those who they have arrested. But
they're pushing people around the back. Go around the back. Okay.
So now they are clearing this area out even further to be able to allow these vehicles to come in and out. It clears like they are trying to disperse this area. There's two sides of this facility, Bill, and on the opposite side where we are, overnight, police set up barricades to try to allow protesters to have some space to be able to protest while allowing vehicles to come in and out. But protesters simply today went over to this other side where there are no concrete barriers, and that is why there's such a heavy police presence out here right now. But we've learned Secretary Kristi Noem is here on the ground today as well, and she was on the roof of the building a short time ago with Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino, who is heading up this operation. You can see this military vehicle that is coming up right now with a Border Patrol agent that is sitting out the top of that. And he appears to have a gun with pepper balls on him. And so, yeah, and they're moving this crowd back continually as we go here. But this is, over the last few weeks, has led to escalating tensions between federal agencies and local officials. And local officials have been increasingly complaining about.
So that's Chicago right now, man. You know, I'm just letting you guys know. Let's go to Home Depot, man. There was check this out. This is Chicago.
Hi, Pat and Dina. Community and immigrant rights groups are expressing growing frustration after a series of ICE raids targeting day laborers. They say those who were detained were picked up at multiple Home Depot locations. Now, a crowd of people gathered this morning outside the back of the Yards Home Depot to support community organizations like Raise the Floor Alliance and the Latino Union of Chicago, along with elected officials as they condemned recent ICE raids. They're calling it an escalating crisis impacting immigrant and working communities across Chicago. Raise the Floor Alliance reports that since September 16th, ICE has detained about a dozen day laborers at several Home Depot.
Yeah, shout out to T-Fan1, man. I was just getting ready to ask somebody from Chicago, where is Broadview, man? He said it's a suburb, it's a suburb on the west side of Chicago, right? So shout out to T-Fan1.
Locations. Rapid response teams say the first confirmed raid happened on September 16th at the Home Depot on 87th Street, a well-known hiring site. They described multiple ICE vehicles blocked entrances and exits, and agents moved in to detain labor workers. Similar raids followed on September 16th, the 25th, and the 26th, targeting additional locations, including the Home Depot.
Shout out to, hey, man, I would like to say shout out to Golden Child in the building. What it do, my brother? You've been rocking with Preem for a long time. Salute to you.
Depot on 47th Street and the Cicero and Armitage area. Community organizers say these enforcement actions are creating fear and uncertainty, calling for urgent action to protect vulnerable workers.
It's all good, Shay. I ain't mad at you, baby. I ain't mad at you. Sometimes we just had these conversations, but it's all good. I'm not mad at anybody, man. Even when we disagree, as long as we're respectful, it's no problem. I don't mind you being in the comments. It's all gravy, baby. All love. Let's get back to the content, though. Right?
On 47th Street and the Cicero and Armitage area. Community organizers say these enforcement actions are creating fear and uncertainty, calling for urgent action to protect vulnerable workers.
Looking for work is not criminal.
ICE enforcement has never been about our safety or crime. Instead, they are the ones making our neighborhoods dangerous.
It is an act of violence. It is destroying and tearing apart families.
Now they're not being honest. ICE ain't making these neighborhoods dangerous. They was already dangerous before ICE showed up. These communities, these neighborhoods were already dangerous before ICE showed up. You're telling a bold-faced lie, right? These people want to legalize border hopping. That's the reality of the situation. ICE ain't made these neighborhoods dangerous. They was already dangerous way before Donald Trump got in office. They're destroying communities and tearing up families. No, you violated the immigration policies. Now it's time to pay the piper. That's the reality.
Uncertainty, calling for urgent action to protect vulnerable workers.
Looking for work is not criminal.
ICE enforcement has never been about our safety or crime. Instead, they are the ones making our neighborhoods dangerous.
It is an act of violence. It is destroying and tearing apart families.
Community organizers say that they're mobilizing through Adopt a Corner efforts by having volunteers at known hiring sites to provide on-ground support. But they're also calling on city leaders to establish city-run safe hiring sites. That way that people would be able to be protected while they are looking for work. We're live in Backyard's neighborhood. Andrea Medina, WGN News.
All right, thank you, Andrea. 4 people are now facing federal criminal charges in connection to protests outside the Broadview ICE facility over the weekend. Homeland Security says 11 people were arrested. It calls them violent rioters in a social media post that shows pictures.
Look at ICE agents, man, getting down with them fools. Trying to sit up there and resist arrest or whatever, what have you.
Facility over the weekend. Homeland Security says 11 people were arrested. It calls them violent rioters in a social media post and shows pictures of 2 guns it says were taken off those arrested. Another picture shows what the agency says is an explosive device found near the facility. The post says it's all being investigated.
Joliet police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide when police were called to the scene this morning of 1800 block of Berkshire Court After receiving several calls of gunshots, a 40-year-old man was discovered in the yard with what appears to be a fatal self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officers then discovered an unresponsive 40-year-old woman said to be his wife inside that home. Several kids were also found inside that home, but unharmed. If you or somebody you know,
hit the like button. It ain't nothing, man. Let's get it.
Explosive words by Broadview leaders today accusing ICE of violating numerous laws and putting their community in danger.
One of those lashing out at ICE is the village's police chief, who says he was verbally assaulted by agents and called a fascist. Our investigative reporter Dave Savini is in Broadview.
Leaders in this village made it clear they want ICE out of here and they want its fence taken down.
I know my job. I'm doing my job.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says ICE agents are breaking the law every day this fence is here, blocking the village street in front of this detention center.
We are experiencing an immediate public safety crisis.
A wall of metal built secretly overnight a week and a half ago without a permit or permission from emergency responders who might have to get to people or businesses on the other side of this now locked fence. But it's not just a public safety issue, it is also a symbol of the divide between the tiny village and the federal government.
Are you guys ready to just break that fence down if you have to?
We are. Well, we have been in contact with Public Works. They are equipped with heavy equipment to get that fence down.
And then there's the chaos and conflict at the gate. Several recent incidents where federal agents fired projectiles and chemicals into the crowd.
The deployment of tear gas, pepper spray, mace, and rubber bullets by ICE near the processing center in the village of Broadview is creating a danger.
Audie Head, man. Audie Head been rocking with me for a minute too. You know, like way back in the day, Audie Head was rocking with the channel. So shout out to my people. You know what's crazy, man? When I do content on King Supreme TV, I see a lot of my subscribers that's been rocking with me for years, man. So salute to y'all, bro. Hit the like button, support the show. You already know. Hey, man, they ain't playing no games with them out there in Chicago, man. They're rounding everybody up. Even a few black folks been harassed by these ICE agents, right? Casualties of war.
The deployment of tear gas, pepper spray, mace, and rubber bullets by ICE near the processing center in the village of Broadview is creating a dangerous situation for the community.
The Department of Homeland Security is running a disinformation campaign, and they are making war on my community. ICE has to stop unprovoked chemical arms attacks on peaceful protesters and on journalists. This behavior is not normal.
Broadview PD has officially opened criminal investigations into federal agents who were accused of striking people with vehicles in 2 separate incidents.
And he shot right here. You can see the point of impact right there.
Also under investigation,
an ICE agent that was masked pointed his weapon and shot directly at my car. He saw my window was open.
The firing of a chemical projectile at CBS reporter Asal Razai, who was driving her car. Something the police chief addressed with me for the first time today.
It's horrific.
And your reaction when you found out that a reporter was struck, her car was struck and it went into her open window?
Oh, I just couldn't believe it. When it happened, you know, like he said, it was no reason. I don't understand it.
The challenge now, finding out the identities of the masked federal agents who were accused of crimes.
We want to know who was working.
ICE responding to Broadview mayor saying in part.
And listen, you guys, I got a third channel. I'm going to post some content over there too. It's called True Spoken Podcast, but we're going to change up the name over there. And we're going to do entertainment. And you guys remember that old school red pill content that I used to drive? Now people label it red pill. You know, I come from the Max Pimps and Players. You know, that's where my gang comes from, way before this internet stuff, right? But on True Spoken Podcast, man, I'm gonna give you guys some of that old school, but with a new school flavor. And we're gonna talk about dating, relationships, rap, hip hop, all of that on the same channel. So if you want some of that old school Red Supreme, you're going to have to subscribe to the True Spoken Podcast, man. I'll put that in my community tab today. So be on the lookout for a post on my community tab in that old school Red Supreme. When I used to do videos about female nature, just kicking game. Hey, man, we got some of that content over there on True Spoken Podcast. But we will change the name. But I'll drop it in the community. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to get the numbers up. And I'm going to give you guys some of that old school content about female nature. Oh, yes. Red Supreme has 3 channels on YouTube. And guess what? I'm going to be dropping content on all 3 of my channels every single day.
Mayor Thompson is distorting agents who were accused of crimes.
We want to know who was working.
ICE responding to Broadview mayor saying in part, Mayor Thompson is distorting reality, pointing her finger in the wrong direction while our officers are protecting her community and others from real threats while also facing skyrocketing violence against them, including at the Broadview facility. Now, the chief says he has heard from the Department of Homeland Security, and he says they've told him they will cooperate, but he says they didn't say to what extent. In Broadview, Dave Savini, CBS News, Chicago investigators.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is their First Amendment rights. As you may know, as recently explained in a letter to leadership in the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, in case they were unaware, the tear gas does not travel like a rubber bullet. Instead, it spreads aerosol or smoke cloud. As far as it removes depends on how it deployed in environmental conditions.
I just dropped it in the chat, man. So you can look in the chat right now. You're going to see True Spoken Podcast. Subscribe to that channel. You're going to get some of that good old red pill, old school Red Supreme content, man. I know a lot of my people love it and they want me to get back to that content, but it's going to be much smoother, right? It's going to be much better. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's going to be much better than it was, man, but it's going to give you that same flavor with a new school flavor, but at the same time, you're still going to get that, you know, that that old school Red Supreme swag, right? And we're gonna spit a whole lot of game over there. So it's in the chat right now. True Spoken Podcast. You should see it. Subscribe to it. I will be dropping some content over there today.
Canisters or the projectile itself can travel hundreds of feet when launched. The gas cloud generally irritates people within 200 to 700 feet radius, but wind can carry it further and spread it unpredictably, and it has. Broadview police officers are routinely.
They're getting fucking photo-ops over there.
Now, this is right here, Chicago. The ICE agents, man, they ain't playing no games with them, man. But it's in the chat. True Spoken Podcast. Subscribe. I will be dropping some of that good old, you know, some of that old school Red Supreme that a lot of you guys love. And you want me to get back to that content. Hey, man, I got to talk about what's going on today, but I will give you female nature content. And we're gonna dive into that over there on True Spoken Podcast. So make sure that you subscribe to that channel now.
Fuck you, Greg Benito! You're the scum of the earth! Fuck you, Greg Benito! He's right there in the front! You son of a bitch! You're gonna burn in hell, you son of a bitch! Fuck you!
You know what? You might be right about that, Cat 6. I might keep that same name, man. I might keep the same name, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change the I'm gonna get into that later.
Get the fuck out of our state, you Belgian scum! Fuck you, Greg Benito! Fuck you! Greg Benito, you're gonna burn in hell, you Belgian scum!
Hey! I'm sorry, dude, don't push me into the police car, dude. Come on, man. You know better than that. You're trying to get me arrested, man.
Right here.
Hey, listen, you got one warning only. This is an unlawful assembly. Everybody will move down the block into the right, or you're going to be arrested. All right, well, here we go. Good idea, Josh. I'm going to go with you. He is threatening to arrest everybody if we don't move.
He said, man, we're going to arrest everybody, man. And I want you guys to watch, man. Things getting ready to get, hey, man, things finna get ugly. Things got to get ugly way before they get pretty. Check out the content, hit the like button. Shout out to Frank Battle for blessing us with that Cash App, that 15 on the Cash App. Shout out to you, Frank Battle.
It's happening right now.
I got 3 channels, bro. I got 3 channels. True Spoken Podcast is in the chat right now. I got Red Supreme TV 1, I got King Supreme TV, and I have True Spoken Podcast. On True Spoken Podcast, we're going to do red pill content over there where we're going to talk about dating and female nature, and we're going to talk about trending topics in hip hop over there, man. So yeah, tap on in.
Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! We know all about it. Those that go. Move back! Move back! Move back! Shame on you! Hey! Let go!
Man, he slammed her. Hey, he wasn't playing, man. He slammed her to the ground. Like, oh, you ain't gonna listen. I got something for you.
Move back! Move back!
Move back.
Move back! Shame on you!
Oh!
What did he do?
American tradesman, man. I remember you, man, but I'm trying to remember your profile, man. Shout out to everybody, man. You know, hit my email. Let me know, man. What was your name before you changed it to American Tradesman? So that'll give me an idea of who you was back in the day when I used to drop that good old content. You dig? Make sure that you bless the like button, hit the super chat, bless the Cash App, subscribe to all 3 of my channels. Subscribe to King Supreme TV, and also subscribe to True Spoken Podcast. That's my 3rd channel. Subscribe to all of them, man.
Tough! Feel tough? Let them go! 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 Be careful, everybody.
Oh, American Negro. That's what's up, bro. You know, I knew you had to change the name. I thought that was you, but I wasn't sure if it was you, man. You know, you've been rocking with your bro, man. So shout out to you, man. How you been doing, my brother? Hope everything's been well with you, man. But I appreciate you for tapping in. You've been rocking with your boy for a long time, man. I got a lot of love for you, man. You've been rocking with me ever since those pre-recorded videos, man.
That escalated quickly. Gas mask on over there. They're going to start gassing over there. They think. What's going on that side? We can't get over there now. I'm not going to risk it. This is their press people here.
Now, why are you waving a Mexican flag in America while demanding civil rights in America? Why don't you fight for civil rights in Mexico? Why wave a Mexican flag in America while demanding civil rights here in this country at the same time? But you're gonna wave a foreign flag in our face while demanding justice in our country? That doesn't make any sense. That's foolishness.
Taking photos. So this is a photo op, it looks like.
You have nightmares about this for the rest of your fucking lives! Your grandchildren, your descendants will be ashamed of you! Show us your face!
No, they got a right-wing YouTuber behind them, like embedded with behind them.
Just looking at us.
The Village of Broadview filed that lawsuit against ICE and the Department of Homeland Security and are requesting an emergency temporary restraining order over what they call serious public safety issues relating to the protective fence erected by ICE around its Broadview facility. In this exclusive video obtained by the ABC 7i team, you can see a large contingency of federal agents dressed in fatigues, then a motorcade, along with Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, arriving unannounced at Broadview Village Hall, seeking a meeting with Broadview Mayor Katrina Thompson, village officials told the I-Team. Noem appearing to never enter the building, she and her team only interacting with a few village staff, including uniformed Broadview police, and was told the mayor was unavailable. The entire interaction lasting about a minute before Noem goes back to the motorcade and leaves. Noem on X alleges she and her team were only trying to take a bathroom break. In this video posted on the public X page of Benny Johnson, Noem said she was denied entry.
The city police wouldn't even let us use a restroom.
According to the village, Mayor Thompson then went to the ICE Center, accompanied by Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills and officers to, quote, ask for the illegal fence to be dismantled. Broadview public safety officials were on the record about their concerns earlier this week.
This construction was done without a permit, and it's on a street under the jurisdiction of the Village of Broadview. The federal government is not above our local laws. This fence is currently blocking access for the Broadview Fire Department to businesses on that road. In case of a fire or other emergency, our apparatus cannot use the street to get to the scene. Each day this fence remains, the risk of tragedy increases. That is the law of probability, and it applies to everyone, including the federal government.
Now Broadview has filed a lawsuit requesting an emergency temporary restraining order against DHS, saying the fence erected around the facility, which crosses a public road, is creating a significant safety issue.
The city's arguments are strong, but the arguments they're going to come up against, that the federal government is going to make, is really the supremacy clause. Federal law is supreme, federal action is supreme. We need this to protect federal assets, federal property, and federal personnel.
ABC 7 chief legal analyst Gil Sofer says a judge may work to find a middle ground, but there are no guarantees a suit like this could win in court.
Maybe there's something that can be done that protects the federal property and personnel per the government, and also does not interfere with access to firefighters, police, and anybody else on the side of the city.
Now, the village hopes to get a hearing with a judge on their request for a temporary restraining order tonight. But the dispute between the village and federal officials continues, with the mayor of Broadview choosing to send her village workers home early, telling the I-Team they did not feel safe with the presence of federal agents who, quote, used their uniforms and weapons in a way that intimidated the very men and women who faithfully serve as frontline employees.
Interesting. And as far as that supremacy clause goes, we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, you know, it would be difficult, I feel like, to win in court, especially talking to our legal analysts. But, I mean, tensions are very high between these two. You know, federalism is on trial here, right? The federal government and local government. And where is that line?
Oh, man. Hold on one second. Graphic language, so we're not going to do that. You know, we're on a monetized channel, so we got to be careful with the language over here. I don't know.
According to
5 Plus News, I'm John Opp.
Well, this is the black dude that they say ICE was roughing up. Now, they said he was a robbery suspect. I don't know how true that is. Sometimes they make up things to justify their violent actions. So, but we're gonna get into the content. Shout out to Hype Plus, man. Hype Plus, man. He does a lot of, he puts out a lot of content about, issues in the black community and a lot of other trending topics. So, shout out to Hype.
Reporting live from Hyper's Club in Atlanta, 5 Plus News, I'm John Opp.
Hype Plus News. Shout out to Hype Plus News, man. This is where I got it from.
Reporting live from Hyper's Club in Atlanta, 5 Plus News, I'm John Opp. ICE and other federal agents are...
He said you're supposed to be going after Mexicans. He crazy for that. What you should have said, man, you're supposed to go after illegal immigrants, because when you say Mexicans, you have Mexicans who are legal. So the correct thing to say is, hey, man, you're supposed to be going after illegal immigrants, not American citizens. But I understand what he's saying. I get it. I get what he was saying. But, he said, man, you're supposed to be going after Mexican. I had to play that one again, man.
5 Plus News, I'm John Opp. ICE and other federal agents are currently in Chicago to fight against crime and immigration on behalf of President Trump's latest push to clean up cities across the country. Now, at the top of September, we reported Trump's threat.
Shout out to Hype Plus News, man. Fair use.
To send in the National Guard to Chicago, only to be met with pushback from city officials and warnings from some of their residents that gangs in Chicago will not be an easy fight. Now, part of Operation Midway Blitz, ICE and other agents have begun sweeping through Chicago, which has now raised concerns of Black Chicago residents and others on who ICE is targeting. Just 2 nights ago, close to 300 armed agents would raid an apartment complex in a Black neighborhood at 2 in the morning.
Now, some people say it's a Black neighborhood, and other people say, man, it's a bunch of immigrants living in that building, man. So, of course, ICE is going to show up. Now, what they're saying is, instead of going after the immigrants who lived in that building, they raided everybody's apartment in that building and handcuffed everybody and treated everybody like criminals, including the American citizens. But let's get back to the content, though. Shout out to Hype Plus, fair use.
According to reports, the raid was expected to focus on potential Venezuelan immigrants and gang members, but would end up disrupting the lives of Black residents and children during the night.
Shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents.
Man, there was dozens of ICE agents out there, man.
Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents.
One of the Black American residents whose door was kicked in and was detained would share what he experienced, sharing that he was put into a van with others after assuming agents had the wrong home. While speaking to local outlet Block Hub Chicago,
so they kicking everybody's door down, huh? Just imagine you sleep in the morning, you got ICE kicking your door down, talking about, hey, man, we looking for immigrants. Hey, homie, I'm a foundational Black American. What the hell you kicking my door in for, fool?
And will go on to reveal they didn't tell me why I was being detained. Another Black Chicago resident who was also detained will go on to tell local news about the moment she was grabbed by ICE.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m.
Upon this report now circulating online, many
ICE over there harassing everybody. They're like, hey, man, everybody's guilty until proven innocent. Everybody's guilty until proven innocent in the eyes of ICE agents, right? Cold work, though. That's some cold work, baby. Cold in the game, as Sir Ism would say.
Fellow Black Americans are speaking out about what they're hearing coming out of Chicago, some even fearing that they could be next. Several would take to TikTok and social media to respond.
Y'all, few Black people that were so happy about them going after the Hispanic people. I told y'all when this first started, we were next.
So I made a video a few months back, and all in my comments, people were telling me this ain't got nothing to do with African American people, this ain't got nothing to do with Black people, they only rounding up the Mexicans, so on and so forth. And I kept saying, this is going to roll over into our communities, this is going to affect us in some way, shape, or form. Like, stop being so naive to make it seem like they're just targeting one group of people, because that's not the case. And then what happens in Chicago? In the middle of the night, they detained, ICE detained for several hours.
Hell yeah, shit. Hey man, listen, homie. You're gonna have some casualties of war. Unfortunately, some black people lived in that community. But what a lot of my Chicago people are saying, nah, homie, there was a lot of Venezuelans who lived in that building. But at the same time, if you're gonna raid apartments, you need to know who apartment you're raiding. Okay, black people live here. We're not gonna mess with that. If your name is Guzman, Martinez, or Lopez, then that makes sense why you would raid that apartment, because you might think that, hey, maybe some illegals live there. But if you see Jackson, Davis, you know what I mean, names like that, what are you doing raiding those apartments? Those are not Venezuelans. You know that those are not illegal immigrants. Stop it.
African American people, and not just adults, children as well. Children as well. They are detaining and then asking questions later.
In case you ain't know, them folks done ran up into an apartment complex in the middle of Chicago, and regardless of how them folks spoke, regardless of where they said they was from, regardless of how they appeared, they got thrown into a van and sent in for questioning. Some folks didn't get out until 3 a.m., and that's for the older elderly women. That means that is an illegal search. That is an illegal arrest, going into your property, search and seizure, and then sending you in for questioning. And if you had a warrant out for your arrest, you're not getting sent back. That is not normal. That is not okay.
Now, over on X, one user was sharing a message to help fellow Chicago residents defend themselves against ICE.
I am super excited to go shopping for some new fall clothes. I saw that UGG has like some really cute shoes out right now, and I am super excited. I think that they would look better with like some baggy jeans, like the kind that like Taylor Swift and Cardi B wear, and then like maybe a cute little crop top, a crop, sweater or some TJ Maxx, Marshalls, maybe Macy's, see what I can find, because it's getting cold out here in these streets.
Getting cold out here in these streets, man.
While another user on X would encourage more people to talk about this latest raid and black people being detained. ICE is kidnapping black people in Chicago, and silence is violence, so effing say something. A part of the news circulating on ICE in Chicago, a video has now surfaced showing a black man being choked.
Yeah, they said they hemmed up this black man, and their excuse for that was, oh man, he was a robbery suspect and he was resisting. He was a robbery suspect and he was resisting arrest from the ICE agents. Now, is it true? We don't know. They could be using that as an excuse to justify their their brutality. Brutality from ICE agents. I was about to say police brutality, but these are not police officers. These are ICE agents.
Detained. ICE is kidnapping black people in Chicago, and silence is violence, so effing say something. ICE is kidnapping black people in Chicago, and silence is violence, so effing say something. A part of the news circulating on ICE in Chicago, a video has now surfaced showing a black man being choked by an agent in broad daylight, adding to more concerns of black Americans now being targeted as well.
Why he choking him, man? Y'all supposed to be out here choking Mexicans, bro.
He said, you supposed to be going after Mexicans. Man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. He said, you were supposed to be going after them Mexicans.
By an agent in broad daylight, adding to more concerns of black Americans now being targeted as well.
Why he choking him, man? Y'all supposed to be out here choking Mexicans, bro.
According to reports, the man was detained due to a possible connection.
Hold on, let me read Afro Merchant. Afro Merchant, shout out to Afro Merchant because he's from Chicago, so he would know. So let me read this off right here real quick, man, from a man, Afro Merchant. Afro Merchant, salute to you, my brother. Much love. I'm getting ready to read your comment right now, brody. Afro Merchant said this. He said, just so y'all know, South Shore is no longer 90% black, but about 80% black now. And it's the largest black rainbow community neighborhood in the country. It's a 50-50 hood working class neighborhood. Okay, man. Shout out to Afro Merchant for putting us up on game about what's going on in that community. Shout out to you, my brother. Much love. Afro, much love. Got my fists in the air for you, man. You know, he said, why y'all supposed to be going after the Mexicans? Why you choking this black man?
Well,
why he choking him, man? Y'all supposed to be out here choking Mexicans.
now being targeted as well.
Why you choking him, man? Y'all supposed to be out here choking messages.
According to reports, the man was detained due to a possible connection to a robbery. Now, outside of the growing concerns of Black Chicago residents, not everyone.
So they said he was arrested in connection to a robbery, right? So that's what they're saying.
The man was detained due to now being targeted as well.
Why you choking him, man? Y'all supposed to be out here choking messages.
According to reports, the man was detained due to a possible connection to a robbery. Now, outside of the growing concerns of Black Chicago residents, not everyone appears to be upset about the recent ICE presence in Chicago. A video is now making the rounds online showing two older white women thanking agents during a patrol, in which one of the agents can be heard, "We work for you."
We work for you. We work for you.
So let's talk about it more in the comments below.
He said, "You supposed to be going after the Mexicans." That's what he said. Oh man.
Oh, should Black people be concerned about ICE raids in Chicago and other cities? Stay today for the latest news and comedy, culture, and sports by subscribing here to our YouTube.
Shout out to Hype Plus for the video. Hey man, that was funny. I ain't gonna lie, man. That was funny. Oh man. Oh man, he said you're supposed to be going after Mexicans. What you doing harassing this black man? Oh man. Let's go to let's go to the next clip, man. Oh God, man. You guys see everything that's going on. It's crazy. Hit that like button, baby. You know. Oh man.
Immigration agents detained a Chicago alderwoman today at a Humboldt Park medical facility. She says the only thing she's guilty of is asking them a question. Meanwhile, immigration agents were seen on cell phone video using tear gas near a Chicago school. Our Charlie DeMar is live there in Logan Square with reaction from that community. Charlie?
And Joe, good evening. This is a busy intersection. Not only is the school here, there's also a grocery store just steps away, and that tear gas sent people running earlier today. But hours after that smoke cleared, this community wanted to do something. So dozens of volunteers came to school around dismissal to make sure these kids got home safely.
Uniformed federal immigration agents were seen on cell phone video throwing what witnesses describe as tear gas from an SUV before noon on Armitage near Central Park Avenue in Logan Square, just steps from an elementary school.
I felt tear gas immediately hit my eyes and nose.
Albany Rodriguez works nearby and recorded this video of the incident.
Yeah, I just think these tactics are disgusting and they're inhumane.
Cars can be seen blocking the white unmarked SUV the masked agents were in. Then you can see the white smoke. The tear gas sends people running into nearby buildings.
It's very painful, extremely painful. It was burning my upper lip and my eyes were bright red.
Curry Solberg not only witnessed the incident, she returned to the elementary school for dismissal with other volunteers to make sure the students got home safely.
I don't feel safe. I feel sad for my neighbors. I feel anxious about the future.
There was a call put out to help protect kids as they would try to walk home and not have to deal with this violence. I can't believe this is the United States of America.
You are going to be placed under arrest.
Oh.
You have a signed warrant for me.
In a separate incident, 26.
Oh, they said, "Oh, you under arrest? You gonna talk smart? We got something for you. You're not gonna talk smart to us."
Not have to deal with this violence. I can't believe this is the United States of America.
You are going to be placed under arrest. Do you have a signed judicial warrant for him?
In a separate incident, 26-ward alderperson Jessie Fuentes was handcuffed by federal immigration agents as she questioned them at a Humboldt Park medical facility. She was there after ICE was reported in the building.
And I simply asked, well, what did I do wrong? Outside of asking you if you have a signed judicial warrant, I want you to articulate to me, what law did I break? They had to take those handcuffs off.
And Alderperson Fuentes was later released. The principal of the elementary school here said in a letter to parents that recess had to be moved inside. But other than that, no major disruptions to the day, and most important.
And meanwhile, federal immigration agents were seen throughout the city's northwest side today. A viewer posted inside an SUV. This was at a hospital in Humboldt Park. ABC 7's Jasmine Miner is live on the scene there. And Jasmine, what can you tell us?
Well, Judy, I can tell you that the man that was being detained is still inside this hospital, and so are the ICE agents who brought him here. Now, it's unclear how he broke his leg while he was being detained, but we are told he is going to need surgery. As for Alderwoman Jessie Fuentes, she tells me that once she was notified of this incident, she came over and she asked those ICE agents if they had the proper judicial warrant for this man, and she herself ended up in handcuffs. Take a listen.
No. He has constitutional rights. Do you have a sign?
No, you need to leave.
For me?
Turn around. You're turn around and leave. Yeah, he is under. I'm going to arrest you if you do
arrest.
not leave. You are going to be placed under arrest.
Do you have a signed judicial warrant for me?
She's up there talking to ICE. ICE like, man, we're not going to take your stuff. We up here doing our job. You're not going to question our authority. Oh, you going to talk slick? We'll sit up there and arrest you too. We'll sit up there and arrest you too. We're not going to keep repeating ourselves to you. Let me check my language. Because we are monetized over here on King Supreme. Man, I would have threw that lady in handcuffs as well. Oh, you going to talk smart? Okay, we're going to show you what to do.
You can hear Alderwoman Jessie Fuentes asking several times if the agents had a judicial warrant before the agent in the striped shirt there grabbed her and put her in handcuffs. Now, later in the video, those agents claim she was arrested for impeding their work.
And I want to say that this is a common practice, right? ICE has been taking individuals into hospital rooms, into emergency rooms, because people are harmed while ICE is trying to detain people in the city of Chicago, right? If you go to Cicero, there have been individuals who have been taken to the emergency room. This is not the first incident, you all. What ICE is doing is exercising violence, physical violence on the people of Chicago.
Now, I did ask for a clarification from Alderwoman Fuentes of how his leg was broken. They didn't have those answers just yet, but I did get a chance to speak with the director of the hospital, and they tell me while ICE agents can come into the emergency room, they cannot go into the operating room. And again, that man is going to need surgery, and so the hospital tells me they're going to keep him for as long as it's needed. Not clear on if those ICE agents are planning to leave this hospital, but we do know that immigration attorneys have been called and are working with this particular individual. I'm live in Humboldt Park. Jasmine.
The news lady look kind of good, man. Shout out to the news lady for sitting up there looking good. You know? Yeah, shout out to the news lady. Yes, sir.
An early morning raid on a Chicago apartment building Tuesday has local leaders vowing they'll continue to fight back against the Trump administration. But federal immigration officials say they have no plans to end their immigration operation anytime soon. Fox's Chelsea Torres is live in Chicago tonight. And Chelsea, the feds say they were targeting Venezuelan gang members in that apartment raid.
Yep, that's right, Caroline. You know, federal agents actually said they had intel on 6 high-profile targets at that apartment who may be affiliated to Tren de Aragua. Some of those caught this month was a child sex offender, a burglar, and a member of that Venezuelan gang. Now, check out this video. Hundreds of federal agents surrounded this apartment on the south of Chicago early Tuesday morning. Officers flooded into the building on foot. Others landed on the top of the complex by a helicopter. DHS told Fox that agents arrested nearly 40 people in this raid, but they did not verify if any of them were actually those suspected gang members.
That was a known empty apartment complex that the city knew of, that it was known TDA members were in that building. We knew there were going to be weapons in that location. There were people living in squatting in vacant apartments.
Meanwhile, anti-ICE protests are also...
It's all good, old dog, man. Just watch the profanity in the comment section. It's all good, old dog. You rocking with Red Supreme. You've been rocking with the channel for a minute, but you need to throw something on that Cash App or throw something in that super chat. You've been watching the content for a minute, but I haven't seen you support your boy. But it's all gravy. You know, you've been here in the comments, leaving comments. That's gravy. But we need some of you brothers who's never been supporters to support the channel in a major way. It don't cost nothing. $5 ain't nothing. $10 ain't nothing. Drop some support on the channel. We got super chatting. We got Cash App. We got PayPal and Venmo. Let's go. Let me know that you're really rocking with your boy Red Supreme. If you spend money with foreigners, you can spend money with your player partner Red Supreme. Drop at least a 10 on the Cash App. Drop something on the collection plate. Hey man, the like button. Hey man, the like button don't cost nothing. So make sure that you bless that like button. And oh yeah, make sure that you check out my shorts, and I'm gonna be dropping on this channel as well. Subscribe. Make sure that you feel the vibe.
Continuing around Chicago, just last night, hundreds of people took to the streets to oppose Operation Midway Blitz, even blocking a street downtown. Hours ago, the Illinois governor actually went after President Trump, saying Chicago is not a safe city.
The President of the United States falsely.
It's all good. It's all good, old dog, man. You rocking with me. It's all good, my brother. Sometimes people become, you know, it is what it is. But shout out to you, man. I appreciate you for rocking with me, man.
It was not a safe city.
The President of the United States falsely claims that Chicago is crime-ridden. It is not crime-ridden. We are not in the top 25 or 30.
Chicago is crime-ridden, man. Now you're talking crazy. Chicago is a violent city. Stop pretending like it's not. We're not crime-ridden. Yes, you are. You want to play those per capita numbers, but if you want to talk about big cities with the population that Chicago has, let's be honest, it is crime-ridden. Stop it. You're not fooling anybody. This is J.B. Pritzker. See, one thing I'm going to tell you, listen, you could never trust the words of J.B. Pritzker. J.B. Pritzker is not honest. He's a manipulator. He says a lot of things that doesn't make sense. Never trust J.B. Pritzker. Never trust Brandon Johnson.
Chicago is not a safe city.
The President of the United States falsely claims that Chicago is crime-ridden. It is not crime-ridden. We are not in the top 25 or 30 cities in the country, big cities in the country, for violent crime.
Although yesterday's protests were actually pretty peaceful, over the weekend riots outside a West Side Chicago ICE facility broke out. 5 people, Caroline, are now facing federal charges. ICE even says that they've arrested well over 800 illegal immigrants since they launched Operation Midway Blitz back in early September. Caroline?
All right, Chelsea Torres reporting live for us in Chicago. Thank you.
As President Donald Trump's authoritarian occupation.
I don't want to hear anything from those people who are biased. You know, let's be honest.
Your immigration bus caught dozens of illegal drivers and some.
Now look at all these illegal immigrants who became truck drivers, taking jobs away from American citizens. Illegal immigrants are now truck drivers, right? I want you guys to get a load of this. Make sure that you bless the like button. It ain't nothing. The likes are free.
Some of them with questionable licenses. Oklahoma's governor is standing by for us, but first, senior national correspondent William Lajeunesse is reporting live in Los Angeles on that. What are we learning, William?
Well, that's just a spotlight, Sandra. U.S. roads are inundated with hundreds of thousands of commercial drivers who don't speak English, can't read road signs, don't sleep, and undercut U.S. driver wages by some 70%. That's a conclusion by the feds, came after this Florida crash in August, prompted a deep dive into actually who's driving America's 18-wheelers. According to Secretary Sean Duffy, sanctuary states like California, New York, and some red states are giving Biden-era asylum seekers commercial licenses.
The process for issuing these licenses is absolutely 100% broken. It has become a threat to public safety, and it is a national emergency.
Duffy highlighted crashes across the country like this 17-car pileup in Texas in March. 5 dead, including an infant. The driver, an asylum seeker from Eritrea who spoke Ethiopian, now indicted for manslaughter. And in New Mexico,
See, they can't speak English. Why would you give a driver license to people who can't speak English? These people are a hazard to the road. They're dangerous. You're putting people's lives in jeopardy, giving illegal immigrants CDLs to drive trucks, and they ain't qualified for the job in the first place. This is insanity. This is crazy.
Some red states are giving Biden-era asylum seekers commercial licenses.
Why would you give an asylum seeker a driver license? They don't speak the language. They don't speak English. They don't understand what words mean. You're putting people's lives at risk when you give these illegal immigrants CDL licenses to drive these trucks. This is insanity. Let these people get jobs in their own country. You're going to sit up there and give an asylum seeker a CDL to drive a vehicle that he ain't even equipped to operate? He don't understand the language. He don't understand nothing. He's in America to get a paycheck. He's a hazard to everybody's safety. He's putting everybody's lives in danger on the road, and this is a prime example. August 12th, Fort Pierce, Florida, an illegal immigrant unalived several people because he didn't know what he was doing when he was driving that damn truck.
Deep dive into actually who's driven by the U.S. driver wages by some 70%. That's a conclusion. U.S. roads are inundated with hundreds of thousands of commercial drivers who don't speak English, can't read road signs, don't sleep, and undercut U.S. driver wages by some 70%. That's a conclusion by the feds, came after this Florida crash in August, prompted a deep dive into actually who's driving America's 18-wheelers. According to Secretary Sean Duffy, sanctuary states like California and New York and some red states are giving Biden-era asylum seekers commercial licenses.
The process for issuing these licenses is absolutely 100% broken.
Shout out to my man O-Dog for blessing us with a 50 on the super chat, man. I appreciate you, my brother. It's lovely.
It has become a threat to public safety, and it is a national emergency.
Duffy highlighted crashes across the country like this 17-car pileup in Texas in March. 5 dead, including an infant. The driver, an asylum seeker from Eritrea who spoke Ethiopian, now indicted for manslaughter. And in New Mexico, this big rig makes no attempt to stop, killing one, injuring another. The driver, according to court records, only spoke Mandarin.
Our highways are full of what we believe to be hundreds of thousands of improperly licensed commercial truck drivers, a lot of them being illegal immigrants.
Last Friday, Duffy ordered states to stop issuing CDLs to any non-U.S. citizen or lawful resident. He estimates 190,000 non-domiciled truck drivers should lose their license. An audit found California issued 25% of its CDLs illegally to immigrants. Now in Oklahoma, a highway checkpoint found 20% of truck drivers were illegal immigrants. Some licenses had no first or middle name.
The vast majority of those people had crossed the southern border into the United States between 2020 and 2024. And all of them had crossed on the southern border.
So states began issuing non-domiciled CDLs in 2021 when President Biden addressed a dispute over driver shortage. Duffy says any state that continues to issue those CDLs to foreigners will lose their highway money. Sandra?
All right, William Marchioness on that for us. Thank you. John?
All right, let's dig deeper on this by bringing in the guy.
This is a major problem, man, and they want to listen, homie. You're putting people's lives at risk. They don't understand the language. They don't understand the signs on the road. You're putting people's lives at risk when you give immigrants CDL licenses to drive these big rigs and trucks. Straight up.
Governor of the great state of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt. Governor, thanks so much for being with us. Really appreciate your time, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you, at least the Oklahoma Highway Patrol and ICE, conducted a joint operation in recent days where you arrested more than 125 illegal aliens, and you came up with a number of commercial drivers who seemed to have licenses that were issued improperly or illegally to them in sanctuary states. You found that, I think, 20% of commercial driver's licenses that you examined were awarded to illegal aliens. And I've been reading what you've been saying about this. You're pretty hot about this whole thing.
Yeah, you know, when my head of Highway Patrol called me and was we were talking about this operation, and to us it's pretty simple. We're just going to enforce the law. And until drive on roads in Oklahoma, you've got to be able to read and understand English, especially the people driving 18-wheelers. So when he told me that he pulled over 520 vehicles at one of our checkpoints as an operation, and over close to 25% of these drivers were illegally driving. They were from China, Russia, Venezuela. It is unbelievable. And these aren't people that are here legally with a legal CDL. They had overstayed their visa. They had illegally obtained this CDL. And they're just violating the intent of the law and the absolute law. The one person that we posted on from New York had literally been detained at the southern border, crossing illegal in 2023, and then was just released. It was a catch and release type deal. And they showed up in New York and got their CDL license. And you saw that. It's had no given name. And I'm not trying to call anybody out. I think the American people need to understand this is a problem, and we have to be a law and order state and a law and order country.
We've got that license up, and let's put it back up on the screen again. As you pointed out, William LaJeunesse showed it in his fine reporting. Here it is.
They're giving anybody a CDL. Oh, you came to America illegally and you want to drive trucks? Come on. They don't understand the language. They don't understand the signs on the road. They don't understand English. They don't even understand the signs on the road. You're putting everybody's lives at risk when you give these immigrants CDLs and you allow them to drive these big rig trucks. They don't understand the signs on the road. They barely understand the language. This is insanity. I know you came to this country illegally. You want to drive a truck? You want to drive a 12-wheeler? Come on. As long as you're willing to work, we're going to put you on a road. Never mind the fact that we're putting everybody's lives in danger when we get these asylum seekers and illegal immigrants these commercial driver licenses so that they can drive these trucks. Give them a CDL, even though they don't qualify for the job. Just give them a job anyway, so that you can undercut the American citizens who really deserve to be truck drivers. You're giving benefits to illegal immigrants, people who don't understand the language, people who don't understand the signs on the road. You're putting everybody's lives at risk.
Again, how does somebody receive a commercial driver's license that says no?
All right, listen what I'm going to do, man. I'm going to drop the link. Listen, I won't. Keep the language clean. If I bring you up, you got to keep the language clean, because I can't afford to bring people up who don't know how to talk. Everybody's grown over here. Everybody should have common sense. Everybody should understand the language that you could use compared to the language that you cannot use. This is a monetized channel, so I won't tolerate no profanity. I won't tolerate no buffoonery, because if you bring buffoonery, you're messing with my money. And if you're messing with my money, then you got to go.
Name given.
Well, that's what's, if you'll read the New York Post today, Richard Barth, who worked and was part of the policy that created the Real ID, and it's very clear, you've got to give your full name. You need multiple, documents that show either a social security number, a passport, maybe a utility bill. So that's quite a head scratcher to us, but these are real problems. And I can give you other examples of some human trafficking that we caught in Oklahoma. But I encourage every state to really look at the policy. I'm not trying to call out any governors, but if you have people in your state that are doing things, you've got to get on top of it, and we've got to be a rule of law country. And I think the American people expect to be safe on the roads, and we expect our 18-wheelers to be driven by people that can understand and read English. And you gave an example of down in Texas, the public safety issue and the major car wreck that killed some people. And that's what we're trying to avoid. And we need to fix immigration altogether. We need to have policies that if people are working here and there's an employer that wants to match the employee, we need to work on that. But we have to secure our border, and we have to make sure that people are here legally and they have a legal right to be here, and we know who they are and they've been properly vetted.
None of these people were properly vetted. They come across the border as asylum seekers, and you don't know what they did in their country. A lot of these people are SA offenders. A lot of these people have violated women and children. None of these immigrants have been properly vetted under the Biden and Kamala Harris administration. They've allowed millions of illegal immigrants to come over to cross the border, and these people are unvetted. You don't know who they are. You don't even know the crimes that they committed in their country before they came to our country here in the United States. Make sure that you bless that like button. It ain't nothing. It's Red Supreme delivering the damn game.
And I think that's what the American people deserve and want.
Governor, just to finish off here, you mentioned the accident in Texas. There was also this one back on August the 12th in Florida, where a driver from India who was an illegal alien, had a commercial driver's license, did a U-turn in the middle of an interstate. A van slammed into that truck. 2 people were killed and a third taken to hospital with critical injuries. Is there any evidence that these people who have these CDLs have gone through the appropriate training? These training programs, they have to follow federal guidelines. They have to register with the federal government. But do we know if they care whether or not these are illegal aliens who are going to these schools, and are they even going to these schools?
You know, that's the thing. I mean, I think during COVID, it kind of got out of control, and during the Biden administration, they opened these.
Ringo said, "You're blacks in the black community. You don't want to work. You want reparations, and you don't want to do anything. You don't work. You're not a productive human being. You blacks are ghetto. You're violent. You're racist towards white people. I defend Charlie Kirk 100% against the black community." Words of Ringo. You blacks are lazy. You don't want to take care of your children. You don't want to work. You're violent criminals to your own community. I stand behind Charlie 100%. Words of Ringo TV.
They have to follow federal guidelines. They have to register with the federal government. But do we know if they care whether or not these are illegal aliens who are going to these?
Shout out to Jordan Anthony, man, for the super chat, for the 20 on the super chat. Shout out to you. You blacks are lazy. You don't want to work. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to take care of your children. You're lazy. You don't want to get a job. You don't want to pay bills. You're violent criminals. Words of Ringo.
Schools, and are they even going to these schools?
You know, that's the thing. I mean, I think during COVID, it kind of got out of control, and during the Biden administration, they opened these what we're calling illegal CDLs up, and we're just now finding out about it. We're cracking down in states like Oklahoma, and Secretary Duffy's all over this issue. But it's also harming American companies in the trucking business, right? It's illegal labor. It's people that are here illegally, and we've got to crack down on it. As far as the number of accidents, 100%, there's problems if you can't read the signs, if you don't understand the driving, and you're not properly.
I'm going to plug the Zelle today, Big E. I just got to connect it to another account, but it's all good, my brother. Shout out to Big E, man. You know, right now, man, we got Cash App. We got Venmo, we got PayPal, and we have Super Chat. And I'm gonna add Zelle because a lot of people have Zelle, and I will add that to the arsenal as well. Make sure that you hit that like button. It ain't nothing. As you play upon the Red Supreme, make sure that you like this stream. The likes are free.
Trained to get behind an 18-wheeler, that is a problem. There's a reason we have these kind of schools around to train CDL drivers, because those are big machines, and they can cause a lot of damage when you have people behind those machines that don't know what they're doing.
I just want to put this one last question to you, because I just got this from Governor Kathy Hochul, who says that the practice, I guess, of having no name given on the license is a practice that's allowed federally. She calls what you're all talking about there in Oklahoma, quote, hysterical and all made up as a way to distract from the shutdown. You want to answer the governor of New York there?
Listen, Kathy Hochul's my friend, and I know Kathy. Listen, I didn't come up with this. This is our as we're just enforcing the laws in Oklahoma, and I'm not.
Why would you give CDLs and driver licenses to illegal immigrants who barely understand the language? So if they don't understand the language, that means that they don't understand the signs on the road. You're putting people's lives at risk. This is crazy. This is pure insanity. 100%.
Not trying to embarrass Kathy because I don't think she's the one. Listen, I didn't come up with this. This is our as we're just enforcing the laws in Oklahoma, and I'm not trying to embarrass Kathy because I don't think she's the one that approved that license, but it certainly came from the state of New York, and it was exactly the way we found it when we pulled this 18-wheeler driver over that was here illegally. By the way, that was the same person that was caught crossing the border illegally in 2023, and it was a catch and release program. They were given a sheet of paper. This is what American people need to understand. During the Biden administration, they would release you and say, oh, come back in 2 years to come to the court hearing, and of course, nobody showed up.
Man, you think them illegals gonna come back in 2 years if you release them and set them free? Juan Vasquez is not gonna come back to a court date. Hector Martinez is not coming back for a court date, especially if you catch him and then you release him. You got to be a fool if you think that he's actually gonna come back. Nah, he ain't gonna come back. What's your name, homie? Jaime Escalante, when in reality his name is Jose, right? Hell no, he ain't gonna come back. What's your name, homie? Jorge, but in reality his name is Jose. You think he gonna come back to a court date, and if he knows for a fact that he's illegal and you release him, you think he gonna come back for a court date if you release him? He's gonna get another a social security card, a fake identification. He's gonna have a fake ID, and he's gonna be working under somebody else's social security number, or they'll just make up a social security number, and you don't know what and you don't even know what type of crimes these people committed in the countries that they came from in the first place. Listen, all of these illegals are unvetted. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris brought millions of illegal immigrants to our country, and these people were not properly vetted. You don't know what type of crimes they didn't committed in their country. Then you brought them. Man, this is crazy.
They show up in New York, don't know how they get the license, but that's not fabricated. That's ridiculous. This was somebody we caught driving illegally in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and as Bill Malugin has pointed out, a lot of those people who were released into the country weren't even given that piece of paper. Governor, great to spend time with you this afternoon. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Well, listen, man, I think we done enough today. Peace, love, and blessings to everybody, man. I appreciate everybody for supporting the content. I got to get up out of here, man. I got something coming up on Tommy Sotomayor, man. And Tommy Sotomayor, you're welcome. Now, Tommy Sotomayor said he can't stand people that talk about Sambos and coons. Well, Tommy, it's cool for you to call black people ignorant, belligerent, and it's all gravy, baby. Why is it a problem to call black people who are sellouts? If the shoe fits, then you must wear it. You know what they say, homie, hit dogs holler. So if somebody talks about Sambos and Sambos and sellouts and you get offended, maybe you just might be one of them. Only hit dogs holler. Why are Sambos so offended when somebody call them a Sambo or a COON? If the shoe fits, then you must wear it. There's no escaping that. See, it's okay for these sellouts and Sambos to call black people ignorant, ghetto, and violent. But when you call them a Sambo or a COON, now they can't take it. That's the worst thing in the world for them to be called. They can't take it. They can call black people all the names that they want to call black people. But when black people hold them accountable and call them names, all of a sudden they can't take it. They don't want to hear it. That is hypocrisy at its finest. But listen, you guys, man, we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate everybody for supporting the show. I've been here for over 2 hours, And I got some shorts. Make sure that you guys subscribe to True Spoken Podcast. This is what I'm gonna do real quick, man. I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Now that is Realer Than Rap. True Spoken Podcast, right? So subscribe to the channel, man. I'm gonna give you guys some of that old school Red Supreme, right? And you're gonna see it in the chat right now. Right. Shout out to Jordan Anthony for the 20 on the super chat. You know I appreciate you, man. Hold on. Subscribe to my new channel. Right? True Spoken Podcast. And I'm gonna give you guys some of that female nature, some of that old school content, that content that I used to do in the truck, that pre-recorded content that I used to do in my vehicle, but at the same time, it's gonna be updated. It's gonna be much greater. It's gonna be much greater later. So hit the like button. It ain't nothing. I just dropped True Spoken Podcast in the comment section. So everybody go over there and subscribe to that. We're gonna talk about dating. We're gonna talk about hip hop topics. We're gonna talk about trending topics on True Spoken Podcast over there. You know, it's not gonna be anything political. We're gonna talk about female nature, the rap industry, and celebrity, and trending topics over there, man, on True Spoken Podcast. So make sure that you guys get over there and subscribe to the channel. I will be dropping some content over there. 5-minute clips, 10-minute clips, 15 and 30-minute clips. But that's what we're gonna do. So listen, if you want some of that old school Red Supreme about dating and female nature, get on over there and subscribe to that channel. It's gonna be dope, man. Peace to everybody for supporting me. I appreciate everybody. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's been rocking with me in a major way. I got to get up out of here, y'all. I'm gone. Peace. Enjoy the rest of